Memory is a tricky thing. Over and over, the Torah commands, Zachor, remember. Many of the events we are told to remember did not actually happen in history. On one level, it matters whether or not there really was an Exodus, a revelation at Mount Sinai, divinely authored miracles as recorded in the Torah and Jewish tradition. On another level, it does not matter. People are going to remember what they choose to remember, how they choose to remember it, what they are told to remember. Remember the Alamo the way we tell you to remember it. Remember the Maine to start a war with Spain and gain a short-lived American empire, even though most of us do not remember the Maine anymore. Remember Pearl Harbor. To actually remember Pearl Harbor, say you were 5 years old in 1941. That would make you at least 87 today. The vast majority of us do not remember Pearl Harbor in that way. We are like anyone under age 25 today who was told, remember 9/11. They don't actually remember the event. They remember what they are told to remember. They remember the story, but not the actual experience. For events that we did experience, for people we knew personally and whom we loved, who are now gone, we might think the past would stay the same. Time travel is fiction. What's done is done. Those who are gone are gone. We will not see them again for the rest of our lives. However, it turns out our memories do not stay the same because we do not stay the same. We are not an unmoved observer of the past, an objective camera recording everything that comes into our frame. We are artists, painting the scene over and over. Sometimes we are realistic, trying to capture every line and curve, every shade and silhouette as close to reality as we can. Sometimes we are impressionists, our emotions making the details fuzzy even as we are taken back to how we felt at that moment with the same intensity. Sometimes we are abstract, remembering shapes that get jumbled in our recollections with other moments of the past. Memory is not a science. Memory is an art, a moving sea between the shores of then and now. Memory is a complicated relationship between yesterday and today. As we change, so too do our relationships. Our service this afternoon quoted Mitch Albom's Tuesdays with Morrie, "Death ends a life, not a relationship." After a loved one dies, it takes time to get past the immediacy of loss, the pain of separation, sometimes the agonies of a last decline. Over time, our relationship to them changes, as it always did before. Perhaps our relationship to that person began as a child to a parent. It later became an adult child relating to a fellow adult parent. Then maybe we became a parent ourselves, and they became a senior parent and a grandparent. If they did not die suddenly, perhaps we became a caregiver to them as their needs grew. When they are gone, we transition from caregiving to remembering. Yet remembering is still a dynamic and complicated relationship. If we had a good connection while they were alive, maybe we find more peace. Or maybe we miss them more because the relationship was so good. If our relationship had challenges, are we relieved to no longer argue? Or do we regret that we no longer have the chance to create a better connection or to reconcile? What is true for these lost loved ones is true for all of our memories, for each of our past connections, to spouses or children, to grandparents, siblings, and friends. We have regrets and hopes and wishes for what might have been. Without even thinking, we ask to change the past. We ask, if only. We ask, what if? Yet we can only shade and sculpt the past so far. We can add a new soundtrack, change the lighting, zoom in on different parts of the screen, but a replay is still a replay. We cannot change the plot, and we cannot make a realistic Rembrandt into a surrealist Chagall. There are limits to the creativity of imagination when we remember the past that we lived and our loved ones who lived it with us. We need to learn two things from our complicated relationship with the past. First, we need to find peace by reminding ourselves that the past is the past. What if only will not fundamentally change what was. Forgive yourself for what did not happen. Forgive yourself and forgive them for what was not done or said. Forgive yourself and forgive them for what was not felt then or is not felt now. We can retell the past with generosity, with forgiveness for them and for ourselves. Relationships change even after someone is gone. The other person does not change, but we do. Second, if we cannot fundamentally change the past, then this is our opportunity to make our living relationships, our complicated, challenging, fractured yet repairable relationships with living loved ones, into the relationships we want and wish for. Do not wait to say if only. Do not wait and ask what if. Act now, speak now, feel now, forgive now. Why wait for regrets when we can begin the repair today? One of my favorite songs of our entire high holiday repertoire is the song with which we begin our Yom Kippur Memorial services. Niftach et hasha'ar, let us open the gate, even at the time of the closing, literally the locking of the gate, before the day is done. The gate is forgiveness. The gate is an opening to changed relationships, an opening to the past and to the present, an opening to others and to ourselves. Hayom yifnei, the day vanishes. Hashemesh yavo v'yifnei, the sun is setting. If we can face the truth and embrace the people in our complicated relationships, past and present, shalom yavo, peace will come. Let us wish, let us hope, let us act to make it real in our lives. Shalom yavo, peace will come.